Hi, in this video we're going to deal with some extra features of the Listview UI component. So just to show you where we've left the project, if I would preview that index page, well, you see that I have here my first page where it links to the different aspects of the app. And as you can see, the Listview is attached to the header and footer. Well, one option that you have is to detach actually that list view, and in order to do that you need to go to this UL, so the unordered list tag, and then add a data inset attribute and set that to true. By default it is set to false, so if you would preview now the page, you see that now there is this gap inserted between the header and the footer. In other words, the inset is set into true. Well, as I said, by default is set into false, and since I prefer to have that list view item attached to the header and footer, I'm just going to remove that code, so it's going to take the default attribute, the default value for the attribute, which is set to false. Another aspect, as you saw in the preview on the right side here, let me show you that. Here we have these arrows which indicate that this is actually a link. Now, although they are quite meaningful, we could make them even more meaningful. In order to do that, we could actually change those icons. In order to do that, we need to change the li tag. Now, since I would like to change the list view item, which is the about item, and I would like to have a more meaningful icon, well, again, I'm gonna use the data attribute. In this case, I'm looking for the data icon attribute, and as you can see, Dreamweaver here lists all of the options. Well, I think the most meaningful one for this case is the info. You could try out the rest, and if I would preview now, you'll see that although the other items have this right arrow, the about item has this icon, the info icon, in other words. Now you can actually enrich the items with other ways as well. So one is to add what's known as a bubble at a bubble count. So in order to give an indication of how many items would a user expect in the follow-up page. So for example, in this application we are two lecturers who are teaching this course, so then I could add a bubble counts indicating how many lecturers or how many how many lecturers would I expect to see in this app. Now to do that, we need to go in the li, within the li tag, and add a span tag with the number. And if I would preview it, you're gonna see that it doesn't actually look quite right. So by adding, in this case, a class attribute and not a data attribute, but a class attribute, and then adding the UI li count value, as you can see, Dreamweaver helps me in order to choose the right value for the class attribute. Well, if I would preview that, you'll see that basically jQuery Mobile takes over and presents in a mobile friendly way, in a nice way, that bubble count. So now I would expect when I click that item to see information about two lecturers. Now another thing that I could add in order to make it even more meaningful is actually an image indicating what the content is about. So I'm still going to work within that li item, and what I'm going to do is add an image tag just before the anchor tag. So in order to specify an image, I need to type in the src attribute that stands for the source. Once I hit the enter, I get this handy browser feature from Dreamweaver, so I can browse for the image that I would like to choose. Well, I had already chosen for an image, which it is on my images folder. That's this GIF icon, which actually, as you can see, is quite large for an icon if I would use it. So you see that the dimensions are actually 114 by 147. I will choose that, and if I would preview it, you're gonna see that it doesn't actually look quite right, since it's quite a large icon. But by just adding again a class attribute and choosing the UI-li-icon value for the class attributes for this image tag, well, you would see that again jQuery Mobile takes over and presents, well, still not quite right, the image, and that's because I needed to actually include that image within the anchor tag and not within the li tag. So what I'm gonna do, in order to be a little bit more readable, I'm gonna indent properly the code, and I just cut and paste that image within that anchor tag and not within that li tag. Well, I'm gonna save the page and preview it once more, and now you see that this is more like how it should look like. So we have a bubble count that gives us an indication of what to expect, and also an icon here which was transformed by jQuery Mobile, which also indicates something about the content that we should expect.